So can we include administrative charges towards PF in the CTC? I think this is another question I received last time. Yes, you can include. When we say CTC, it goes beyond the income of the individual, which means this is a cost expenditure of the management in respect of the individual. So what is the cost? How should I decide the cost? It is, I think, the employers, respective employers can take a call. So if you want to include administrative charges paid by the employer towards PF, you can include that as part of CTC. Of course, no bar in it. But again, as I said earlier, ensure that the monthly gross salary of the individual, that is the income of the individual, is ascertainable. That is what is more important. I'll move on. Can we mention payment of performance incentive subject to performance in the appointment order? You can do that, but again, what I would suggest is you can just mention the entitlement, and you can also see, again, this should be very, very carefully drafted, right? You can say that there is a scheme announced. It is not a scheme forced by any of the law, right? It is by the management themselves. So currently we have a scheme, and for which you are also entitled, right? Tomorrow, maybe if there is some change in the scheme, or if the management has got the rights to even withdraw the scheme, something like that, you may have to put it, right? Otherwise, this will become a commitment, then you may have to continue to pay. So again, when you want to include this in the CTC part as a consideration in the contract of employment, it should be very, very carefully drafted. That is the idea. Should we show the CTC in the offer letter itself? See, again, it is a choice. You can have a detailed offer letter, and maybe on the exact day of joining, you can merely mention confirming, give a letter confirming the offer, right? That is sufficient. Or the offer letter can be short, and when the person actually joins on the first day of joining, you may give a detailed letter. That is also possible. Strategically, again, I'm saying strategically, it would be better keep the offer letter brief, right? Again, the reason being, if we are say for example mentioning the salary part, the CTC part in the offer letter, what can happen is this person can go and show this letter to his present employer, and maybe demand for, he can raise a demand there for a higher salary. If he gets it, then he may still continue with the existing employer. It is possible. So as a strategic decision, I would suggest keep the offer letter brief, and the elaborate appointment letter you give it on exactly first day of joining. That would be my suggestion. And is bonus not a discretionary? I think somebody raised this question. When we say statutory bonus, no, it is not discretionary, right? It is a mandatory legal payment, legal obligation on the part of the employer to make a bonus payment on annual basis, right? If the company earns profit, then based on the profits available, the rate is to be decided. If there is no profit, at least 8.33% minimum is to be paid. Of course, for the first 5 years, they have the infancy period. It is not required, right? Only if the company earns profit in any of the years, in the first 5 years, they are supposed to make the bonus payment. Otherwise, it is not required. So it is not a discretionary payment. As far as I'm concerned, bonus is a statutory payment, right? And would the proposed wage code impact the draft of the no? See, again, as we discussed for different existing legislations, even the wage for gratuity will be different. Wage for ESA Act will be different. Similarly, the wage code is also defining the term wage, right? It is in no way going to affect the draft of the appointment order. I don't think so. There will not be any impact. Whether the gross should be the minimum wages or the net, I think we discussed on this. As far as the Minimum Wages Act is concerned, right, as per the Supreme Court's decision in air freight case given sometime in 1997 or 98, it is sufficient if the monthly gross salary of the individual is equivalent to or more than the minimum rates of wages prescribed. But that may not work for payment of bonus act or the payment of PF Act. So it is better the sum of basic and DA alone shall be the minimum rates of wages, or equivalent to or more than the minimum rates of wages, and the other components, if any, that shall be over and above that.